Today I'm sharing a vintage book haul. Hey there, it's Mitzi. Welcome to my channel. Today I'm sharing what I'm calling a vintage book haul, but let's face it, everything I share is pretty much vintage on this channel because I just love the old books. So today I am separating. I have a larger book haul. I bought some children's books and things too. But these I'm calling vintage because they are either books that were out of print and now they've brought them back, or they're just older books that are harder to find. So that's why I'm calling them vintage books. And if you follow my channel, you know that I just love the old vintage books, the old books. When I go to a yard sale or an estate sale or any of those things, I am always on the hunt like a treasure hunter. I am just digging through all the treasures to find new books that are old. They're vintage and old and maybe out of print, but it's like a new discovery for me. And I'm always looking for one of those books that was written a long time ago that may have been forgotten and I can rediscover it. And I don't know why, but it's almost like a hobby for me to do that. So not only am I a reader, but I'm a book collector as well. And so it can get to be a little much around here with all the books that I bring home. Anyway, I say all that to say today I'm sharing what I'm calling a vintage book haul. And these are just books that are not new releases or anything like that. They've been around for quite some time. And I had, there was a sale. Now, one of these books I didn't get at the sale. I just got picked up used. But there was this sale at my, it's a secondhand bookstore called Second and Charles. You may have one in your area. There are a chain of these stores, and I love it. It's a very large secondhand bookstore. They also sell some new books, which are, in my opinion, way overpriced. But when you can find some of their used books, you can find them really a lot cheaper. So we go there a lot. If I am over in Augusta, we always stop by Second and Charles. It's just something that I do. This last week, they had this buy 5, get 5 free. They do this at the beginning of the year to kind of clear out some books and things. And each section, they pretty much were doing this in. It was buy 5 books and get 5 from that same used book area for free. So I ended up, you know, paying half price basically for the books. Now, some of the books, again, I'm not going to share in this video because they're not vintage. They're old, of course, because they're on my channel and they're used, but these are more vintage style books, so that's why I'm sharing them separately. So anyway, I say all that to say the first book that I found was one of the Oxford Pocket Classics, and I have been trying to collect these. I love these little, the size of these. The font is small, but if I have my reading glasses, I can see it fine. And so I like them because these I can throw in my purse. And they're just cute, let's just face it. This one is The Mill on the Floss by George Eliot. I've never read this one, so I look forward to trying this one out. I don't know if that's coming in or not. But I just thought it was cute. It has these beautiful, the outside is beautiful. I mean, the dust jacket's pretty too. But I like the look of this. It's like a textured, almost like a cloth bound book. And I just think that they are beautiful. And this one was super cheap. So I thought I would add it to my Oxford Pocket Classics collection. The next one is kind of funny because this is not a book that I normally read. Now, I do like some science fiction, and I have shared a book on this channel that most of you probably wouldn't even want to read, but for some reason I loved it. And it was called Donovans Brain. And it was written way back when, I don't know, sometime when all that pulp fiction was being written, all that sci-fi. And I picked it up on a whim and loved it. And it's really a silly book. It's definitely pulp fiction. It's about this man who is a scientist, and he's trying to learn how to make a brain live on its own. So he does some experiments, and this man happens to die. I think it's a helicopter accident. I can't remember. But this man, this wealthy man named Donovan something, happens to have this accident, and this scientist tries to save him. Unfortunately, of course, Donovan dies, but not before this scientist is able to save his brain in a jar. So he takes Donovan's brain and puts it in a jar, and it stays alive. But over time, Donovan's brain starts taking over this scientist. And so it's really silly. But for some reason, I couldn't stop reading. I mean, it was a page turner for me. And every now and then, I'm in the mood for those kind of books. Anyway, I found another one. It is actually like the sequel, I think. And somewhere I saw that there were 3 of these books, and I didn't think I would ever find any, because Donovan's Brain is not something I've ever seen anywhere. So I guess it's hard to find. But this is like a sequel. It's called Hausers Memory. So that is the cover. I just could not resist. This book was, you know, a couple of dollars, and it was the buy one get one free thing, so I had to pick it up. But I was so excited to find a sequel to Donovan's Brain because I loved it. So I can't wait to read this one. Donovan's Brain, one of you, when I mentioned that, I don't know when I mentioned it, but when I mentioned that book before, one of you said that there was actually an old black and white movie of that. So I need to find I think it's black and white. I need to find the movie, because I just thought it was the silliest thing, but so much fun. It's kind of like H.G. Wells is for me. War of the Worlds and things. Now, they're a little more serious, but they're just fun. The sci-fi part of the imagining, and if you follow my channel, you know I love Twilight Zone. So sometimes I'm just in the mood for those crazy stories like that. And so I can't wait to read this one. I was just so excited when I saw it randomly there. And it's by Kurt Siodmak or something. I don't even know how to pronounce his name, but I loved Donovan's Brain. And this apparently is a sequel to that story. So that was a treat for me. Another book I found, this wasn't at this sale, but I put it in here because it is vintage. But I found this book. It's a Virago Modern Classic, those green Virago Modern Classics. And I really enjoy the feel of these because they're very floppy and they have great font, and I just like these books. But this is an Elizabeth von Arnim book, and it's called The Caravanners. I don't know anything about this one, but everything I've read by Elizabeth von Arnim, I have enjoyed. I've read The Enchanted April, Elizabeth and Her German Garden, and Vera. Now, Vera's totally different than the others, but I've loved every one of them for different reasons. So she's just a great storyteller, and I enjoy her writing. So, of course, I had to have this one to add to my Elizabeth von Arnim collection. Let me know if you've read this too. And let me know if you've read any of these. And let me know if by chance you have read Hausers Memory because I doubt that you have. Now the next one, well, I'm going to save it to last because it was my favorite find. Let's hold on to that one. Now I have 10 books here. So these were definitely buy one, get one free. And I was so surprised to see this in Second and Charles, because this book has been reprinted, and this came out again. I don't know when she brought these out. I think in the 2000s, early 2000s. But this set of books, it was a series called Meet the Malones. And that series came out, I think, in the 1950s. And I've never read them, but Miranda Mills has talked about them on her channel. And they sound like something I would like. So when Miranda mentioned it, I went over to try to find them. And I have, I think that I can get them on Kindle, but I'm not a big Kindle reader. So I really wanted to find them in, you know, hardcover or paperback. And I found them in paperback. Now, Meet the Malones is the first one, so I probably need to read that on the Kindle because they didn't have that one. But they had 10 others in this series, and I think that's about how many is in the series. I'm not sure. 12, 13 maybe in the series. So I was really excited to find these. But these are not in any kind of order. I'll look back and see the order that they're in. But this is, again, these are reprinted. They're not the original copies. And they're by Lenora Mattingly Weber. But this one is Leave It to Beanie. And that's that one. And then Beanie Malone. I think this might be the second one in the series. Something Borrowed, Something Blue. Looks like someone's getting married here. Terry a While. Again, all these are from the Meet the Malones series. And there was just a whole stack. It looks like in the back there's actually a library card from a middle school. So I guess they were in a middle school and they got rid of them. The More the Merrier. I loved that picture on the front of that cover. Come Back Wherever You Are. This really looks like a vintage cover. I guess that whoever reprinted this just took the old covers and made, you know, these paperbacks out of it. I love this cover. A Bright Star Falls. I just loved that with her driving. That was just a cute cover. Beanie and the Beckoning Road. Love this cover too. It's bright red. Loved that. Beanie Has a Secret Life. I hope these are showing up. And then Welcome Stranger. So again, these are in the Beanie Malone, Meet the Malones series. And ever since Miranda mentioned those, she's mentioned it several times on her channel. Ever since she's mentioned it, I've wanted to read it. And again, I know that I can get, I think you can get all of them on Kindle, but again, I'm not a big Kindle reader. So when I saw these, I had to pick them up. Final book, my favorite find from the vintage books. Now, I did find some other books, and I'll share them again in another video, but my favorite find was this cute copy of Winnie the Pooh. Look how cute that is. He is embossed on there. I don't know if you can tell that. This is a cloth bound, and I just thought I had to have it. It was precious, and it was in the vintage section. Look at how cute the end papers are on that. Just thought it was so cute. It was in the vintage section, so I didn't think that I could count it in the sale, but the manager happened to be standing there, and so my husband asked him, and he was like, yeah, just let him know the manager said you can put that in the sale. So I did, and yes, I was very excited. You know, just revisiting Winnie the Pooh is just, I mean, who doesn't love Winnie the Pooh? And I've always loved these, but I never had this beautiful copy. Look at the spine. I don't know if you can see that, but he's down there on the end of that. And I just thought, yes, had to have it. I just thought this was the find of the day. So those are the vintage books that I found recently in a in the secondhand bookstore, as well as one of them I found somewhere else. And again, I'll be sharing some others in another video soon. Have you read any of these books? Let me know. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.